Hello, everybody. Looks like we're filling up a little bit better for this meeting. If you weren't here for the first meeting, what we talked about was the 6 fundamental views that people have of the world. We talked about pantheism, the idea that you're one with everything. We talked about warfare. We talked that that Satan may exist. We talked about all these different things. I do encourage you to get that sheet if you haven't already, because they're kind of defined on there. And having that knowledge is very beneficial for you as a human, especially in this day and age. During the first seminar, we saw that there is an exponential increase in the number of end-of-the-world prophecies. People are freaking out. So there's like this bigger and bigger number of times that people are saying, the world's ending this year, the world's ending next year, or 15 years earlier they said, the world's going to end in 2000, and so in 2000, there was a bunch of them, and people in different places kind of freaked out. But which one of those groups of people was right? Well, none of them were right so far. I mean, there's still end-of-the-world prophecies to come. There's one later this year. There's one in 2012, as you know, and that's what we've been talking about in this series. And there are many more to come. We're going to be looking at some of those end-of-the-world prophecies and who said them. And then we're going to look at that person's track record. And we're going to see if anybody comes even close to legitimately having any ability to see what the future holds. So we're going to talk about future prediction. Normally a sermon has about 28 slides, and this one has more than 80. So we're going to be running, so enjoy yourselves. Listen very carefully. First we're going to define oracle. The title of the thing was Testing the Oracles. So what's an oracle? In ancient Greece, it was an utterance, often very ambiguous, like, given by a priest or a priestess at a shrine as the response of a god to an inquiry. Skipping down to number 2, it could be a person who delivers the authoritative, wise, or highly regarded and influential pronouncements. Number 3, it could be a divine communication or revelation, or any person or thing serving as an agency of divine communication for an utterance made by or received as authoritative or extremely wise. So it could be the utterance itself instead of the person who's giving it. It could also be the oracles, which are another common name for the Bible or the scriptures. And the original term oracle was given to the holies, the Holy of Holies of the temple built by Solomon. It was a special room that was cube-shaped where they did special services with the Ark of the Covenant. And that was the original place that the word oracle came from. So, what are the sources of prophecy? This is quite a list, and we're going to look at every single one of these. But first, I have to complain a little bit. Has anybody noticed that my hairstyle is especially not great? Thanks, Andrew. I wanted to look pretty for you guys. And on Friday, I went to get my hair cut and had a very bad experience. I asked for what I normally get. I asked for, was it a crew cut? Something like that. And the guy starts, he grabs my head and he twists my head sideways and goes, just like gouging into my flesh. It just hurt so bad. My scalp was pink, and I started going around the back of my ear, and it was kind of like pointy right here. It was sticking out on the sides. When he was done, he's like, there you go. And the whole time he's like rubbing his belly against the back of my neck while he's cutting my hair. And so I said, well, it looks kind of weird on the sides. And he's like, oh, I can trim that down. So I actually stopped him before I thought he was done, because he just started making mistakes. And I got home, and Brendan went, oh. And there was a bunch of hair, like long hair still in the part that's supposed to be short, sticking out in different places. Weird. Anyway. So if my hair looks funny to you, you just enjoy it. It'll be gone at some point when it grows out. I'm assuming it will continue to grow out. Anyway, so that's kind of how my week was. A little bit stressed coming up to the series, and I get to relieve my stress by talking very quickly right now. The sources of prophecy happen to be, and this took an awful lot of research because sometimes sources of prophecy are kind of hidden, but there's astrology, There's cause and effect projection, pattern projection, divination, supernatural abilities, wild imaginings, visions, dreams, and supernatural contact. And I feel safe giving a guarantee. There's no other group of people, no other groups of people who say, we can tell you the future besides these guys, or ladies sometimes. So this was the chart that I showed you in the first lecture. This is the number of apocalyptic prophecies that have ever happened. We're going to look at astrology first. These are the failed end-of-the-world prophecies that came from astrology in green. Can everybody see that? So they predicted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a group of them around 2000. 7 different times what they said the world is no longer going to exist after this year. And those didn't come true. So astrology gets kind of like a -1 point in our little scale for now. As I looked at astrology, it became very clear. Some of you may believe in astrology, so please do not be offended. This is the evidence that I looked at objectively, which means I looked at it hoping that I would come to a conclusion about its validity, which means, so if it's right, then I'm going to use it for myself. If it's wrong, I will set it aside and look for something else. And I went through each one of these things in the same way, looking for these sources of prophecy. But astrology didn't do too well. Studies have repeatedly failed to demonstrate statistically significant relationships between astrological predictions and operationally defined outcomes. I know that's a lot of big words, so let's explain that a little bit further with more big words. Effect size studies in astrology conclude that the mean accuracy of astrological predictions is no greater than what is expected by chance. So it's like we're making up a bunch of stuff, and whatever matches statistically is similar to what would happen if we were just making up stuff. The perceived accuracy of astrological interpretations and descriptions of one's personality can be accounted for by the fact that people tend to exaggerate positive hits and overlook what does not fit, especially when vague language is used. Now, have you ever gotten a fortune cookie? Oh, I'm going to make a new friend today. But I'm going to be at home the rest of today. My friend is my TV. So you put that on your plate and you forget about it. But the one that says, later today, I just had Chinese food. They're right. So you take that one home and you kind of treasure that one up in your heart. And in that way, sometimes people find fortune cookies to be very accurate about them because some of them are left in the soy sauce. A large-scale study, this is probably the most thorough study of astrology ever conducted. It was, what was it? It was in a book called Personality and Individual Differences. And you can tell how many pages there are in this book because this particular reference was brought out from page 1,349 through 1,362. Anyway, a large-scale study with a sample size of about 15,000 astro twins, which means somebody you're not related to, but who was born on the same day as you, was published in 2006. It examines the relationship between date of birth and individual differences in personality and general intelligence and found no evidence that a connection existed. It also found no relationship between the zodiacal signs and the participants' personality traits. So they say these signs have specific meanings, or the people who are born during these months and things have a specific way of acting, and they did not find that to be true when they were looking at it, scientifically speaking. I love science. Some questions were raised to astrologers, like these ones. There was actually a set of 10, but these ones I thought were the most entertaining. I thought you guys might want to be entertained. What's the likelihood that 1/12 of the world's population is having the same kind of day? Why is the moment of birth rather than conception crucial for astrology? Is a premature baby going to have a different personality because of when they were born? Or I know this